Waypoint 25 and 26, Natural Arches Trail and Charlie Spring Trail. Okay, very few directions for this trail. The directions are cross under the road, which I'm doing right now, and follow the wash until it ends at Charlie Spring. And then there's a warning. The trail is not marked. So we're gonna just see where we end up. And if we actually do find Charlie Spring, it's about it's over 5 miles. So let's check this out and see where we end up. Here we go. And here's the tunnel under the road we just passed through. So, looks like there's some kind of a spring here. So we'll follow this wash till it ends in Charlie Spring. Just follow the water. Maybe that'll do it. Okay, and the 360-degree view. By the way, we haven't gone very far. There is the beast at the trailhead. There is water in the spring, or in the wash, so we're going to follow that water, see where it leads. Here we go. Well, trails are seldom as easy as they sound, but this one sounds easy at least. Follow the spring. Follow the water till you reach Charlie Spring. So, here we go. Let's see if it's as easy as it sounds. Evidence of horses taking this trail. If horses can make this trail, then so can I. And here's a 360-degree view looking back toward the memorial for John J. Clark, who died here by his wagon, evidently ran out of water back in the around 1915. He was taking the old Arrowhead Trail. So that should be a warning for us all. Okay, onward we go. Well, just my luck, the horses have left this wash. I hope that's not a bad sign. Anyway, here we go without horse help, continuing on down the wash towards Charlie Spring. And by the way, the surface is deep sand, so prepare to empty your shoes a number of times and to wade through deep and sometimes wet sand as you head toward Charlie Spring. Well, the wash is widening out, and since washes tend to split and go in lots of different directions, I'm keeping my policy of having a frame of reference, and my frame of reference to get back is this rock formation right here. Pointy rock. And I head toward that and I will reach the trailhead. So this is the way I just came. And looking around, and here's where I'm headed. This is looking strangely like that area I was in on the old Arrowhead Trail just last week, and traverse through those red rocks up ahead. So things are going to start joining and splitting, and we're going to continue on. Here we go. Well, we're looking back along this wash, this very sandy wash. And as I suspected, washes tend to split and divide. And here is a larger wash. I'm going to continue down this wash and hope that's the correct direction. This, by the way, is pretty much the exact point I was at last week when I overshot the Arrowhead Trail and decided I'm going to just take off into these mountains and try to find Elephant Rock Loop. And I had no idea that, yes, I was probably on Charlie's Spring Trail at that moment, which continues down this wash, I think. We'll find out. So I'm going to just continue on till I think I have gone far enough. And then if I haven't found Charlie's Spring, I will turn around. I'm going to give myself, with the videos I'm taking and this deep sand, I'm going to give myself about 1 more hour before I turn around and head back. So hopefully we'll find Charlie's Spring. I expect that if it's like a lot of desert springs, there will be a pool and or a little pond and an oasis. That should be nice. So we will find out. Okay, looking back and looking forward, heading down this wash. And definitely if we hit the Overton arm of Lake Mead, we've gone too far. I don't expect to do that. Okay, here we go. Well, this is cool. These are my exact footprints from last week, as I decided I am heading down this wash too far on the old Arrowhead Trail. So I took off in this direction and entered the Red Rock Hills right at this point, and then traversed those hills over to Elephant Rock Loop. Today, though, we're heading down this wash with the thought that, hey, we're heading toward Charlie's Spring. So let's see if we actually are. And here's a 360-degree view. So we are exactly on the same route we were on last week on the old Arrowhead Trail when we got off track and kept heading down the wash. We didn't realize that this is potentially Charlie's Spring Trail. So here we go. Well, here are a couple huge chunks of rock that came down from the cliff walls up above. Maybe during a flash flood, who knows? But I'll let you know, if you're ever in a flash flood, stay away from the side because that is perhaps going to disintegrate and huge things fall upon you. And that will be your last experience of trail running or hiking. Okay, continuing on down. Well, the little creek here appears, flows for a little while, and then it disappears in the sand. So here's my theory, that this water continues to percolate. It is definitely running water. It continues to percolate through the sand, and it's going to come up at the spring. What do you think? Let's find out. As you can see, the spring has dried up again, However, I think we can trust that it is still flowing underneath us. So we're going to continue down the wash, which is actually in the other direction. Continuing down the wash. And by the way, it is sandy, yes, but last Saturday in January is today. Last Saturday in January. The sand is wet. Kind of like that perfect beach sand that you can run on. That's just the right combination of water and dryness and makes a nice little surface. And so this is much easier to navigate in January than probably in the middle of the summer, and it's cooler too. It's about 55, 60 degrees right now, and the high today is supposed to be around 70 at the most, more like 67, which makes this just a perfect route to go in the middle of the winter. But I don't know if I'd do this in the summer. Well, I spoke too soon when I said that it's a great surface for running on. And there is the great surface. That's behind us. Take a look at what's ahead now. We're entering into the Badlands. So we're going to now be navigating some lower areas. Here we go. Okay, it's breaking up even more. Now I'm entering into more of a canyon area. Beautiful rock around me. Some of it looks like it's all ready to just let go of the side. So we're not going to walk too close to the side, but you see I just came down that section over there. And so we're entering a semi-climb, scramble area in this Charlie's Spring Trail Canyon. Okay, give you a quick 360. I'd navigate along the top, which would be a lot easier, but I'm not sure that this may just get deeper and deeper, and if I was on top, I'd not be able to get back down, because look at how steep those walls are getting. Okay, onward. So the walls get steeper, and the echo gets louder. Here we are in this narrow canyon, Charlie's Spring Canyon. And here we are looking forward. Looks like it's widening out a little bit. That'll be nice. Look at this canyon. Wow. I did not expect to be seeing this. Very, very beautiful. How beautiful. This is where you end up if you head down the wash, overshooting the old Arrowhead Trail. Pretty amazing down here. Like a little mini Grand Canyon. So spectacular what water can do. This trail is definitely worth it. I'm glad I didn't travel on top, because I would have missed the canyon here. How totally amazing. Incredible. And then if you're on top, you just see the brown rock. You don't see what's going on underneath. Okay, onward. It's always good to look around and see what water has done. And this is about 15 feet up. You see that brush up there on the rock. It looks like that may have been a water level when, to get that brush up there. Wow, can you imagine 15 feet deep worth of water shooting through this canyon? Wow. That would have been quite the flood. The canyon continues, but looks like it's widening a bit. Here's a 360-degree view. Huge boulders crash down the side of this canyon. You can see large sections of the side crash down. As the water sweeps through. Fortunately, there's not a cloud in the sky. However, if there was a flash, if this were July, let's say, and there was a flash flood or a thunder downpour miles away, that could, we could be looking at a sunny day and then all of a sudden just inundated with the rushing water. So don't trust the sky. Can look perfectly blue and you end up swept away down the canyon. Here's the water reappearing, reminding us that there is water flowing under us the entire time here, and that will come out in a spring eventually. This whole experience reminds me of a story of how the Columbia Gorge in Oregon was formed. It was formed when a glacial ice dam in Canada broke and sent water shooting down through that area, and it carved out the entire Columbia Gorge. So things can happen distantly and really affect where you are standing. Okay, looking back, another balancing rock. Love the balancing rocks in this park. You're just hanging there in the middle of nowhere. How did that rock get there? Okay, onward. As I suspected, looks like we are either in or approaching an oasis here in the desert. Takes a lot of water to water a palm tree. Now we're heading through some deep grass. So if this is not an oasis or spring, I don't know what is. Yeah, I think the trail sign said that it doesn't let you know when you've arrived at your destination. So we'll continue on down a little further, but this definitely would qualify as a spring and an oasis. Look at all these plants that are supported by the water that flows through here. Okay, let's go onward a little bit more just to see if indeed this is Charlie's Spring, or if Charlie's Spring is a little bit further down. I'd say this is a good candidate for Charlie's Spring. And it's about time that we arrived at this spot. It's looking a lot more like a spring. There's the palm tree. Here's a little pond, which is exactly what we were expecting. So I'm going to call this Charlie's Spring. I'm going to continue. This is looking back. I'm going to continue down just a little bit further to scope out the area, but I believe that we are at Charlie's Spring right here. And this is the oasis we were expecting. Okay, I'm going to make a guess that I'm below Charlie's Spring. I've passed it, and the canyon is widening out. Definitely the water continues to flow. I'm hearing insects around me. But I do believe that was Charlie's Spring just a moment ago. So we're going to head back now. Time-wise, I think I've spent enough time on this route that should have been Charlie's Spring. I hope that there isn't something more beyond. It just draws you in, doesn't it? You just want to see like what's around that next bend up there. And I could end up all the way down at Lake Mead. But I'm going to turn around because I want to hit the natural arches trail and take a look at that also today. So back we go. Heading back now, but here's a little scene I missed earlier. This is that balancing rock But this is the other side. As I'd mentioned earlier, when we were going around the Balancing Rock in the Valley of Fire Park, look at these balancing rocks from different directions and you'll be amazed what appears. This is the opposite direction and looks so beautiful. We're just about back at our starting point from the Charlie Spring adventure. And here we are, quick look at John G. Clark and his memorial. Died of dehydration here in the desert in this spot back in 1915. And we are at the place where we crossed under the highway. So we have completed the Charlie Spring Trail adventure. Now we're going to go for Natural Arches Trail. And we re-enter the tunnel. There's a little baby tunnel here too. Interesting. Okay, here we go. Inside the tunnel. It's like those near-death experiences where you see a light at the end of the tunnel. Must look somewhat like this. Oops. I almost saw that tunnel just then. Okay, back at our starting point. Now is the time for Natural Arches Trail. I don't like the idea that the main arch collapsed, but I'm hoping that there will be enough natural arches to make this worth it. It's about a 2.5 mile trail, and evidently there are no markings, so we'll have to just figure out where the definitive trail end is. What I'm seeing is that there is no definitive trail end, so let's just take a look and see what we find out here. Looks like we head up the wash that the other direction is Charlie Spring Trail. We passed through that little tunnel up ahead, and instead now what we're going to do is we're going to head up this wash, and it's a 2.5 mile trail each way, and so we'll just gauge where we should be in about 2.5 miles, about what time it would be, since there's no definitive end to this trail. And we'll look around at arches. Here we go. After passing through a rather cluttered maintenance area, the trail, or at least a pathway, becomes apparent. At least so many footsteps, how can they be wrong? So we will we'll go ahead, and this is the direction we're going actually. We're going to follow these footsteps, but boy, this sand is deep. This is the deepest sand I have experienced yet in Valley of Fire State Park. So we're going to be navigating sand and probably emptying our shoes out a few times, but we're heading on up what looks like a main thoroughfare for people traveling, and hopefully the Natural Arches Trail. Okay, let's find out. And here's a 360-degree view of where we are. Beautiful red rocks all around us. Right in the center there is the landmark that I use to navigate back from Charlie's Spring Trail. And my landmark for this trail is going to be this mound right here. Okay. So that's our 360-degree view. And here we go, slogging through deep sand. Fortunately, it's only 2.5 miles. I want you to picture the deepest sand you've ever walked in, and then double it. And you'll have what we're dealing with here. Definitely no running on this trail, but we're out here. This is the value of it, is just to be in a place like this. Imagine January, I'm wearing shorts and a tank top. Where else in the country can you do this at the end of January? So, soaking in the sun, enjoying myself, but slogging through deep sand. The sand remains very deep, but the walls are rising up around us. Very majestic, beautiful red rock. So we're definitely in the canyon and moving through the canyon. We just passed this area. And now we're headed onward. Here we go. Encountering some of the weird and wonderful shapes in these rocks, characteristic of Valley of Fire Park. As we continue through this canyon, Natural Arches Trail. This rock almost looks like it's bowing over and welcoming us onward. You can see the work of water in shaping this canyon. Another 360. Here's the direction we're headed. Now let's circle around and see what we can see. And you see the walls are very high. It's got to be at least 300 feet. Here's where we just came through. And again, where we're headed. And my shoe is filling up with so much sand, there's no longer any room for my foot. I just squeezed through this area. Narrow and windy. Talk about being formed by successive layers. That's how the beehives were formed. But here you can really see how the layers have been stacked one upon the other. Time for another 360. Here's where we're headed. And looking around all the weird and wonderful rocks, and there are little rodents running around on those rocks now. Here's where we came from. Here's a rock wall with quite a design on it. And back to where we're headed. Hallelujah! There's our first natural arch. Let's do a quick 360. We just saw 3 bighorn sheep crossing the canyon. Got some pictures. The little one was actually a baby that was following its parents. I guess you'd call it a lamb. So you can see the amazing rock formations here. Here's where we came from. And you see the little footprints. As I mentioned, there are a number of rodents. This one, though, yeah, I'm not sure that's a rodent. That may be the little bighorn sheep, the little lamb that we saw just a moment ago. You'll see it in the pictures. Didn't have time to get a video rolling. Okay, continuing on. Let's take another 360. There's a pretty interesting rock formation. 3 pillars there in front of us. Here's the trail going forward. And then our 360. And you can see just the really rugged, intricate designs. Amazing. Yeah, I like that little one up there. It looks like an arch that had seen its last archness. There's one that's still in existence as an arch. Rocks making all kinds of weird and wonderful formations here. Here's deja vu, almost like when I was in Fire Canyon and looking at Silica Dome. Now, I don't know if this could be Silica Dome and I could be in Fire Canyon, but I tell you, it sure looks familiar. Could be a very similar canyon, who knows? Here's the 360. If this were Fire Canyon, I'd be looking up right now at the Mouse Tank Trail. But oh boy, I don't know. We'll figure that out someday. Time for another 360. We've got some beautiful views in all directions here. Look at the formations on these hills. Another balancing act up there. Oh, and there's another arch. See if we can get a good shot of it. There you go. Been around. How beautiful. Yes, the last time I had this much sand in my shoes was Fire Canyon when I was heading toward Silica Dome. So, I don't know. It sure looks suspiciously like Silica Dome. Same angle, same coloring. Just doesn't seem we could have circled around that far, but who knows? Maybe we took a shortcut. 360, here's where we're headed. Looking all around. Wow, some truly amazing formations in these rocks. You can see why they call this Natural Arches Trail. Look at this. Here's where we just came from. Amazing skyline here. And there's the rock that looks mysteriously, suspiciously like Silica Dome. If that were Silica Dome and we were in Fire Canyon, I'd be looking up at Rainbow Vista right now. But not sure. Let's continue on and just see what appears. Okay, I've reached a turnaround point. Heading back. I could swear I'm in Fire Canyon. And I'm navigating very close to the area I was in the other day when I came down from the Rainbow Vista trail and overlook. Not the exact spot, but very close. Okay, heading back. I'm emerging from Natural Arches Trail, and in retrospect, I would say this is indeed the eastern exit of Fire Canyon. If you continue up the Natural Arches Trail, you'll eventually reach Silica Dome. That was indeed Silica Dome. And if you take a hard left before Silica Dome, you'll come out at either the Rainbow Vista Trail or the Mouse's Tank Trail. So that's where we are. That's how things connect around here. And the only other time that I've had so much sand in my shoes was when I did the Fire Canyon hike. But now I have gone pretty much the entire length of Fire Canyon in Red Rock Park, except, yeah, I didn't go all the way to the western end of the canyon. As it was opening up, I took a left and headed out on Silica Dome the other day. But for the most part, yes, I've done almost the entire length of Fire Canyon in Red Rock Park, in Valley of Fire Park. There's so many red rocks around me that it's just natural to say Red Rock Park. But no, Valley of Fire Park. Okay, heading out where I came in.